to hide.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Mattitude, the ESC United live stream. Guess what we're going to talk about? Eurovision. What a night. What an evening it has been. I promised you I would come back to discuss the results, so let's jump right into it. I think you all watched the show, or should I pretend you didn't? Am I going to spoil it? No. Congratulations to Switzerland winning the Eurovision Song Contest 2024. Nemo the Goat taking the crown. And the best results for Croatia ever at the contest. I think that's another reason to celebrate big time. And with Baby Lasagna, Tim Tagidem rounding up the top three. Ukraine from slot number 2, Teresa and Maria, performed by Alyona and Jerry Heil. So much going on. There's so much to discover and discuss here as well. So I think we should jump right into it. There's, the winners, the losers, and all of that. And as always, at ESC United in the chat, and I'll try to answer as many questions as humanly possible. First of all, of course, we got to celebrate the winner, Switzerland. Nemo, for the first time in 36 years, Switzerland is taking the crown. That's their third victory, and it's a milestone because the first victory for Switzerland was in 1956, the very, very first contest ever. They won that one. They didn't win again until 1988, a second time with a tiny little singer. Not sure if you heard of her, Celine Dion. So this is another big milestone. I mean, the first two wins were magnificent and significant, I should say. And I guess we kind of fall in here as well. So that was an interesting outcome here. So I'm so very happy for Switzerland. I know we have to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is that Switzerland only came 5th with the televoters. This is the first time that a 5th place with the televoters that low. It's still a great result, but that low actually ends up winning the contest overall, the juries once again significantly overruled the televoters for this. I don't know, I'm not counting how often now, but it happened quite a few, and certainly 2 years in a row. That's not a complaint. It's just an observation. Haley, thank you so much. I'm so shocked. It's 0 point for the UK in the televote. We'll get to that. I cannot explain that. We were left-handed aside with the juries. Get ready for UK media saying no one likes us. However, I honestly don't get it. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment, because I had a similar feeling about Germany last year, I want to say. So I hear what you're saying, but let's talk about the actual winners here. So as said, Switzerland didn't win the televote, came 5th, but then won the Giro with such a healthy margin. Once again, in Lorraine's style from 23, and it was just virtually impossible to catch up unless you really, really had to, put Switzerland super far down in the televote. But obviously the song was too good to be punished that way. So I'm sure there will be a lot of discussions again next year about this, but I don't want to take anything away from Switzerland's win, because it's just a wonderful thing to see. And it's the first non-binary winner ever. So we got to think, the little milestones here that we all got to celebrate. So I cannot be too complaining. But I know a lot of you in the chat are probably very sad, not because Nemo won, but because Croatia didn't win in the end. But it is their best result ever, and they won the televote, even did the impossible that a lot of people thought, and actually beat Israel in the televote, knowing the Israel campaign that was going on with, we know all that stuff. But they still managed to actually stay ahead of Israel and then finish in 2nd place overall. Not that far away from Switzerland. Let me double check again the point difference, because Switzerland got a combined 591, Croatia got 547, and then there's like almost a 100 point gap with Ukraine with 453 points, and then France has 445 points. But have you seen the insignificant difference? Like, once again, all the big points allocated between like 5 songs maybe. It's just crazy. Even like the televoters had a very different, like a united front for the favorites, and everybody else kind of missed out here. So that is just very, very interesting. So I think it's a great top 3 in my book. And I know Israel came 5th overall, with coming 2nd in the televote, but the juries actually put them a little lower than I thought initially. They put them somewhere in the mid-table, but the point difference was just so big. There was no way. I don't want to say Norway, because we're going to come to that later. And they're going to catch up. Ireland coming in 6th place, was hoping for a few more televotes, but I know it's polarizing. But it was still a fantastic result, the best result for Ireland in 20 years or so. Over 20 years, I want to say. And still, Ireland came in 6th place with the televoters as well. So that is a great result, both with the juries as well, right? Juries and televotes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so it's a consistent setup there. So that is just wonderful. So I'm very, very happy about that as well. And Bambie Thug, this performance will always be iconic. This is a testament on why we need juries at Eurovision. You raise a really good point. Like, the juries, in many people's eyes, saved the contest, but also destroyed it, because the favorite didn't win, and the televote only gave the winner 5th place, all of that stuff, So you sometimes have to take the good with the bad, I guess, right? But we can talk about it. Could there be adjustments made? Because, when the juries put one country so far ahead, it's so difficult to actually catch up. If not, you noticed, but the singer gave Nemo a satanic crown, which possessed them. And in the final, singing broke the magic by the trophy. I don't know all of that. Now, there was so much going on. I didn't notice the details, because I've seen the performances so many times. And I think the actual results, like the breakout of the results, coming in a second as well. I want to talk about, of course, let's go back to combined results here. Actually, while I'm doing this, because I'm just talking about it, let me share my screen as well while I'm doing it. Ta-da! I'm on Eurovision World right now. So as you can see, Switzerland, Croatia, Ukraine, France, Israel, the top 5, and Ireland, 6th place. Italy, 7th place, maybe lower than some people were hoping for. But I think this is another great result for Italy, coming 7th. What, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with the public. And with the juries, they came 4th, actually. Okay, so actually the televote is a little lower, but as you can see, look at the public vote again, also just allocated between the top 5 here significantly, then a little space for Ireland, and then Italy, and then it keeps going down and down. So lots of things to take into account here. And I'll answer some more questions in a second. I'm still learning all of these results as well. So hang on one second. I'm getting a few more information here. Okay, so then we got Italy, Armenia. So happy that they got 8th place. That is amazing. I didn't think that the juries would like it that much. So I'm happy that they actually got more points from the juries than the televotes, actually, technically. So Armenia back in the top 10 is wonderful. They were in my top 10. They deserved a spot, so I'm very happy. Not surprised that Sweden made the cut in the top 10. Where did it end up with the televoters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, that's jury. I'm silly. 1, 2, 3. Oh, they're a little lower there, but still good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11th place. So you cannot argue. The juries and televoters are somewhat, well, not in a line because the juries gave it way many more points, but in terms of ranking, they're not that far off. So this is a fair result for Sweden, coming top 10. The first 2 songs, both in the top 10. And then Portugal rounding up the top 10, which I'm so happy about. That one I kind of predicted it would be a jury pleaser, not a televote pleaser. And so this doesn't surprise me, but I'm glad that they made it to the top 10. Greece just missing out in the top 10, but it's still a fantastic result for Greece. And let's talk about Germany, 12th place. I told you it's more likely for Germany to end up on the left side of the scoreboard than coming last. I knew once they're going third, that they wouldn't get as many televote points, but they weren't last. Look, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 20. They were in 19th place. While nothing to brag about, it is still a good result for Germany. Am I right? Am I right or am I right? So this should be at least encouraging for Germany that, you can get points, especially from the juries. So, and they got a 10th place with the juries, I believe, right? So it was just a wonderful experience. I did call that one a little bit. There's certain things I didn't call, but that one I did. Luxembourg surprised me in the jury vote a little bit, that it got 11th place. But hey, they got a good result, and it's a mid-table result for the comeback. Fantastic. Lithuania, 14th. Bit disappointed that it ended up on the right side of the scoreboard, but still, 14th place is kind of where they usually have. 11 between 11 and 14th seems to be their sweet spot every single year. Cyprus doing good. 15th place may not be like that exciting, but looking at the competition, that's great. Latvia, 16th place. I told you it's not going to come last. I figured that it's going to go to like between 11th and 18th place with the juries, which would be enough to actually not come last. And they did not that bad with the televotes either. So Latvia certainly overperformed anyone's expectations. Serbia, once again, like in that area, 17 points. I didn't think it's going to go too far. So this is kind of what I was expecting. And let's talk about the elephant in the room that you were just talking about. Poor United Kingdom, once again, coming dead last in the televote with 0 points. And 46 from the juries, which was 13th place overall. That brings them down to 18th place. Not the end of the world, y'all. I know you're a little bit deflated probably because of the actual low score from the televote, or the lack of any points from the televote. But it's hard to explain. I felt similar last year for Germany because they deserved more, I thought, even though they didn't get 0. It sucks. It's not a good feeling, and it looked so good, and the song is amazing in my book. So if you ask me for an explanation, I don't know. It just didn't click. It just doesn't click with people. I thought it's going to have more televote appeal than jury appeal, so that is certainly the biggest surprise. But once again, I told that to the Germans last year, either don't give up. You had a national final, and even though your song didn't do as well as you were hoping for, you tried something different. And this year, 13th place, they're going up, up, up. 12th place, actually, what I'm talking about. In UK, 18th place is not the end of the world. Yes, the 0 points are very disheartening a little bit. But don't let that discourage you. That's all I'm saying. Next up, real quick here, we're going to talk more in details. Finland, I'm surprised it didn't do as well with the televoters. I thought they're going to get like 100 or so. But hey, once again, all the points consolidated behind, a handful of songs. Estonia was getting worried they're going to come last, but the televoters at least given a few more points. Coming in 20th. Georgia deserved a little more, but I'm just glad they made it to the finals. I didn't think that the song was strong enough. She was stronger than the song, the singer. And I think that's what happened here. Spain flopped with the televoters. I knew it was going to flop with the juries. So that was my hope. Like, Spain needs to do well with the televoters to overcome, a potential last place, which I did, 22nd place. I know we're splitting hairs right now, but still, it just was not a very accessible song, which I said before I was worried about. Slovenia is very sad, but I'm just glad they made it to the finals, to be honest. I did not think that Slovenia would make it. So the fact that they did, I am thrilled. Austria coming in 24th is a bummer, especially only 5 points from the televote when they're the last one to perform. I didn't think they're going to break. I thought they're going to like 50 from the televote, so coming second to last sucks. But as you can see, the bottom three are semifinalists for the first time since 2013, I think. A direct qualifier didn't come last. It is Norway. Undeserved. I knew it was not going to do well with the juries, but only 4 from the televote. That hurts. That hurts. And you all know I didn't click with the song very much. So I cannot necessarily say that, oh, it's such a, yeah, but I thought so many people loved the song so much that this would become somewhat of a favorite. But no, that did not happen. So that's a bummer. Let me unshare my screen real quick. And I was talking a lot right now. I just wanted to go for all the things real quick because I had to refresh my memory who ended up where. So that is basically a very interesting result. Now we got to wait. I'm not sure if they're up yet. I haven't had a chance to check yet what the results are for the breakout between semis and all that stuff. Let me know, somebody, is that already up so that I can... Oh, semifinal 1. Oh, no, that's not ready yet. Never mind. So we're waiting for that still. Okay. We'll get that in a moment. So you can share your thoughts as well to let me know where you fall. Are you happy? Are you sad? At ESC United in the chat. Now I'll start zooming for some of the questions or comments. I think it's more so that the fact no other country got 0 points in the televote. I can't see any more artists like Sam Ryder, Olly Alexander wanting to take the risk to go to Eurovision anymore. Here's the thing, Francesca. I will separate Sam Ryder and the other two, May Muller and Olly. The reality is neither of them are strong vocalists. Sam Ryder sang the crap out of that song. You can make the same point for James Newman. UK has so many fantastic artists. I think when the vocals just aren't that great, it's just very, very difficult for people to click with it, I think. And honestly, you don't need big names. Big names doesn't always mean much. With Sam Ryder, it worked. Big names is not the secret to success. With Sam Ryder, it worked, but it was not because he was already famous on TikTok. Most people didn't know him, but because he is good. He's talented, and he is just doing a wonderful, wonderful job. And you can get less known people. Jade, remember 2009, wonderful voice. What a great artist. Came 5th overall. That kind of stuff happens if you have the right people. So worry less about big names and worry about good artists, stronger vocalists. And I think that will get a long way. So that is what I'm saying. I still don't think 0 points is warranted in the televote, but, it is, one of the reasons I will say. I'm happy for Nemo and Baby Lasagna. Marco looked like he's happy to close this chapter. I think everyone is. I'm sad because I really, really wanted to go to Croatia. Like, you have no idea. You have no idea how badly I wanted to go. But I'm happy to go to wherever in Switzerland, except I cannot afford it. So I don't know how that's going to pan out in Switzerland. They have to make it more affordable for all the people visiting. Fortunately, Eurovision at least is only 1 week, so maybe it's a little better. But we'll worry about that later. For now, I'm just happy that, we have the results and 2 amazing top 2. And Croatia, 2nd place, 1st medal ever, best result you are now a contender. You cannot go back. You cannot go back to just being meh. Maybe we'll qualify every 3 years and get like 18th place. No, 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 no. This is now your area. This is not a fluke. This is your moment. So I'm very happy for you. And I know tomorrow we're all a little like, we all wanted to, we're super excited about Croatia, but it could be absolutely worse. You know what I mean? So, Matt, you are the only one to consider Nemo as a potential winner against all odds. Yeah, I mean, I always said that one thing I did get right. Okay, this sounds so braggy, so I don't want to say that because it isn't every year, but this year I called a good amount of good shots because I was almost certain that Switzerland and France would be the top two in the jury vote. Now, I didn't see Switzerland being such a landslide winner, so that's why I made it difficult. But Switzerland was always a candidate. I also said that France should not be slept on. France did way better than a lot of y'all thought it would be, so I was right about that as well. He didn't come second in the end, but he came second with the juries and fourth with the televoters. He did better than Switzerland, not by much, but still. The point is, he's higher up there than Switzerland was. So I was not surprised to see him that high. I'm surprised that Ukraine got that many points from the second slot. Because 10 years ago, I mean, it's Ukraine right now, gets a lot of points every year in the televote right now. That is just what it is, the situation. But this is way more than what they get last year from a better position. So maybe now that you can vote early, that could be an advantage after all. We just didn't know. Thank you for the super chat here, J. McHugh. A huge thanks to you and your team for unceasing hard work, humor, sense, and entertainment. Keep taking those vitamins. I didn't take them right now because, I gotta, had so much stuff to do, but next time I will have a vitamin. Thank you so much. Those who get the joke, they'll get it. I also have a good few hot takes on Germany and Portugal, as high as they are. Hot takes. I would love to hear them. Well, the hot takes are the juries. That's why I also think we need the juries, but I understand. Is there a way to have less of runaway winners with the juries? Because it seems like if the juries decide on one song so dramatically, there's very little that the televoters can do unless they completely drown a song. And Switzerland did not deserve to be drowned. That is an amazing song. And, song-wise, it is such a good thing. Wonderful. Real quick, somebody saying, first of all the artists did amazing. Such a glow up since the semis. How do you think the hosting will be next year in Switzerland? Well, your guess is as good as mine. I think we need to more worry about the time between this Eurovision and the next Eurovision, if there are going to be any changes and how this is all going to pan out. And I know some people already said, like, this would have been Netherlands when. I know we'll never know, and it still sucks, but there's always that what if in the back of your mind. I get that. So it does really, really suck. But yeah, it's hard. Diversity in jury composition is a simple answer, and I love that response, Henning. I do think that maybe we should get away just making it an exclusive club, because right now you have to be in the music and you have to be a successful artist. Like normal people, they cannot be on the jury, and I think that needs to change. We need to have more average Joes on that one as well, to have at least off balance that. The reason why I have juries also is not to have diaspora voting and all of these things, right? And the whole situation with Israel right now, and all these other reasons why we may not want to have that high of a, televote and all that stuff. So there are multiple reasons, and we can discuss this. Let me refresh and see if the semi-final results and all that stuff are in. I don't think they are yet, at least not on Eurovision World. I keep refreshing. Let me know, anyone, if they do come up so that I can respond to them. In the end, it doesn't matter because, but it would be curious to see who came in 11th and who really messed up. So it's clearly that Israel came first in semi 2 and Croatia in semi 1, right? That's pretty much a foregone conclusion, but let me see if I'm going to be wrong about that. And the show, I know we need to talk about the show. I know there was a lot of booing. We heard that, especially, of course, when Israel performed, but Martin Osterdahl got a lot of booing. Oh, it was so uncomfortable. I was just like, I don't even want to look at that. I can't hear it. Or when the spokesperson from Israel got the points. Or, the Netherlands, when Martin Osterdahl had to give the points, I was just like, I couldn't even look at it, but the screen changed so quickly that I couldn't even look at it. How would the jury and televoting have changed if Netherlands wouldn't have been disqualified? I'm still hesitant about the jury vote. The jury vote. I don't think Netherlands would have broken into the top 5. So I think that the Netherlands would have probably been in the top 3 of the televote. Where? I don't know. So I think it would have been right there up with those top 5 getting 200 plus points. I think Netherlands would have been somewhere in there with those top 5. I just don't know where exactly there would have been. But I would have been probably a top 5 result for the Netherlands. Or at least tops. Yeah, I mean, they're not the best running order, but it seems like that was not as big of an issue this time around. It's a strong song. If the juries have given much more points to Israel, it could have led to all the hells have broken loose now. So I am thankful tonight. It would have been an awkward conversation we would have right now. That is for sure. Yes, in that case, I feel like there's so many jury critics out there that they maybe tone it down a little bit. And I understand. I just want to have more of a more representative view from the juries. And I don't even think they should be brought down to 25%, leave them at 50%. I think it's a great system. It's just the composition, as Henning said a minute ago, I think it needs to change to have truly more representation among the taste and not just the exclusivity of the juries. That what bothers me more than anything. How bad was Lorraine in Evalak, though? I don't think it was that bad. What I said before is the fact that she is just too static on the chair. She's just like a fetus just trying to do stuff. So I didn't hate it. I just thought, I don't know, she didn't have to be in that chair the entire time, especially for the second part when Tattoo came in. So that would be my thing. Could Sliman even get more points if he nailed the juries? That is a question that we'll never know. I mean, he got second place, and I don't think that he could have done much better. Maybe a few points. Maybe we've gotten a few more points, 20, 30 maybe, but I don't think it would have made a huge difference. I really think that Switzerland was just the jury magnet, and no matter what, that would have happened. So I'm not too surprised. I'm not too sure. It wasn't that bad. They only cracked like a little bit during that a cappella, and it added maybe some vulnerability to it. But anyway, that's the only thing when you have these experts on there, they know how it works with singing, and they know that he's a fantastic singer, and he was consistent and great throughout the rest of the performance. So it was an interesting night. Do you think Italy was low in the televote? I wouldn't call it low. They were similar to, at least in points, like Brevity was a couple of years ago, right? Let me see. Italy was in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th place with the public. And that's a good result. I mean, a lot of countries would kill for it, metaphorically, not literally. So it's not bad. It's just the point distribution was so dramatic because the top 6 had so many more points. So it was difficult for Italy to keep up with that. That was the problem. And, I'm just happy because, now that officially everything is over, my personal number 1 was actually France this year. I'm just in love with that song. The performance just blew me away. And Croatia was my number 2. So I wanted those 2 songs to do really well. The fact that there's a 2nd and 4th, I'm very happy. And Switzerland was obviously in my top 10 as well. What an amazing song. So Armenia was in my top 10. What an amazing song. So, and Ireland was my number 3. Sorry, Ireland was my personal number 3. So those were my top 3, actually. Isn't it a wild top 3, actually? Like from France to Croatia to Ireland. So I'm so glad that all 3 of them ended up in the top 6. So I cannot complain. Do you think Switzerland will get rid of Moroccan oil? I don't know. It's not really Switzerland. That's often the EBU has the call for that as well. So that's how I think. So I don't think it's just the Swiss broadcaster that's going to say something. Thank you so much for that super chat, even though it's just the donation, not a question, but it is very much appreciated. So I will just let you know, I told you before that I don't care. Okay, I stopped. I don't care. I said if it's at the North Pole, I will go to Eurovision next year since I couldn't go this time around. And yes, I will go to Switzerland, bar any like the health situations or whatever, I just need to start saving now. So I better put on all these Eurovision videos to get that AdSense money because flying from LA to Switzerland, not cheap. And then getting hotels and all the other expenses. Let's not think about it right now. My head is woo. Okay, we're still waiting for the results. I mean, when I said results, semi-final result, some breakout stuff, but they're taking their sweet time today, don't they? Let's see here. Did I like the ABBA tribute to Cast? Yes, I liked it. I didn't love it. It was fine, you know. I will talk about the show as well. And keep in mind, there's so many questions you have. I'm going to answer more tomorrow as well. We have another broadcast tomorrow evening. So we had like 24 hours to digest everything that was going on today. And, you know, so I keep that in mind. Thank you, Craigie Mac. Also not a question, but for the super chat, this will all go towards the 2024 funds. 5. So, yeah, that for sure. Because now I got to get new software as well. Eurovision is so expensive. You know, I love doing this, but it's just not cheap. But I don't want to think about that right now. Thank you so much, Angela, for this super chat. Thoughts on the UK getting 0 in the televote? It was liked, but not anyone's favorite. Getting close to breaking a country's top 10 or just disliked? Well, it comes down. We have to see the full results. I don't think if people were to vote for their least favorite song, I don't think they would get a whole lot of votes. I really think it's just not a favorite song. That's why I wish we could do a rank the songs kind of situation in the televote, but I know that's not really possible. We'll have to look at the breakout of all the jury votes and televotes, you know, where they landed. I will do analysis as soon as they're out. By the way, when you all go to bed here in California, I'll be up still for hours and hours, so I can start looking into this, analyze it, and spit it out in a video. So maybe by the time you wake up tomorrow morning, you have an analysis, or at least like a basic one. Thank you so much, Anna Pino. Do you think that supporting Croatia took away points from other countries or just took advantage of the Netherlands point? Honestly, I don't think it made a big difference. First of all, this whole Netherlands debacle just happened just like, you know, the next 36 hours, less than 48 hours. Most people did not have that strategy. Let's combine all of our votes behind Croatia. Online, yes, there was a lot of movement like, all vote for Croatia to avoid Israel's win, blah, blah. But I don't think the normie just watching it on the night, they had the same sort of idea, as you can see, based on the points. They just liked the song. The song was just darn good. That's why the bookies put it in first place as the winner by a healthy margin. But the bookies cannot really ask. No one can really figure out, you know, the huge difference between these two jury votes and the televote. If we had a Kaya situation like last year, Croatia would have won. But I think it's just the whole setup right now. It just didn't pan out that way. There's a wee bit for you, Ellie. Switzerland 25, piggy bank. Thanks for your awesome coverages. Well, that's going to be a big piggy bank, but, you know, it goes towards it. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And don't worry, now that I'm back on track health-wise, I don't disappear again for 6 months. Knocking on wood. So I can do more coverage and be around as I usually am. So, and I know I see so many comments in the chat about Eurovision being corrupt. We can talk about that, sure. But in terms of the results for Croatia and Switzerland, those were mostly fair, right? In my book. Now, we can talk about the Israel situation, about how they, you know, bought votes in terms of like, you know, the ads and contacting embassies to vote and, you know, make sure that embassies contacting people in the country, respective country to vote for them. And it's a little weird, but, you know, we cannot return, you know, to go back to where it came from. I know people will be upset, but it is what it is. Ukraine doing well from slot 2 in the grand final. Yes. I mean, Ukraine is Ukraine. We know for current situation, certainly gives them a little bit of a heads up in terms of votes, which it's understandable. You know, it's an emotional vote, and absolutely it's an emotional vote. But also, that was a great song. People loved it. And to be fair, last year they also got a lot of points from less points, significantly less points from a better running order. So clearly people liked the song, and maybe in the year 24, opening the voting early can have an advantage. Back 10 years ago when they did it, it did not. There was virtually anyone voting, but people are way more online now than they were before, especially with the rest of the world voting. So I think that is just a good thing. So if that really made a difference, I think we should keep doing that, because then maybe going early is no longer a hindrance. That would be wonderful. That would be a new era in Eurovision. Thank you so much, Rans, for the donation. Long-time Dutch Eurovision fan. Hang in there, buddy. Obviously sad and upset with Joost being disqualified. Hope we send Joost back again next year for another chance. If Joost wants to go back, I don't know if he wants to. I mean, he's heartbroken right now. He should. I know the broadcaster will let him go with whatever he wants to go. And but right now we need to just make it through this. Hopefully there will be a big dialogue there, because that is still, nobody is happy with what, not nobody, but most of us are not happy with what has happened. It's extremely shocking to see 3 countries having more than 300 points from the televote. I couldn't believe it. No, I couldn't. I'm trying to remember, when was the last time this happened? I know in 2015 we had 3 countries with over 300 points overall, because that was the year before we switched to the point breakout. Was there another year where I'm thinking of my head, where we had 3 countries breaking the 300 point mark in the televote? And I cannot. It's also a unique year, with everything that's been going on, Ukraine and Russia, what's happening in Gaza and all that. There's so many other factors coming into play. So it's a reality, which makes it so ironic that the EBU was so adamant about not showing Portugal's performance because she had something painted on her fingernails. So it's just ridiculous. As a Dutchie, I'm deeply disappointment in them taking Joost down. He had an agreement where he wouldn't get filmed, and they still did it. I think there will be a lot of discussion there, and we still don't know everything, right? We know the story from Evrotos, and there's always 2 sides of the story, so I always withhold final judgment. But since CBU doesn't give us anything, we can only go by what one side is telling us. And yeah, based on what we know, it ain't right. It ain't right. Were you surprised with the jury vote for Portugal? Somebody's asking. Nope. Check some of my other live streams. I said it. All Portugal has to do is survive the semi, and they will be on the left side of the scoreboard. And sure enough, they were. I assumed they would be top 5 with the juries. And I think there was 6. No, 5th was worth it in the end. Let me go back here. The jury put, actually, I went a little lower than that. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there were a little in 7, but we're talking about 9 points different to 5th. So if they had 1 10-pointers, that would have been in the top 5. So I was kind of close. It's like the same. So they ended up exactly where I thought they were going to end up in the jury vote. And I do think that they're going to go a little lower on the televote, because it's not necessarily as televote friendly, this kind of music. Expect a little bit more than 13 points, but, they still made a top 10, and that is very well deserved. The grand final full results are out. Let me see if Eurovision World has updated it already. I mean, I'm less worried about the actual grand finale. I'm more interested in the semi results. But let me go back here. Okay, I see them. I'm going to put on my glasses right now. Okay, these are the public. The low, yeah, so Croatia got points from, let me bring it up here, actually, since I'm looking at it. Hold on a second. So I'm going to make this a little bigger here. The public, as you can see, everyone gave Croatia points. The lowest is 5 points from Cyprus, Georgia, Israel, Latvia. But other than that, that's, pretty good. And Israel, we all knew they want to get a lot of points from the countries. The lowest came from Armenia with 1 point, 0 from Croatia in the televote, and 0 from Ukraine. Okay. Everybody else gave them at least decent points as well. Look at all the 12 pointers here. It's not a surprise. And as expected, the rest of the world gave 12 to Israel, 10 to Ukraine. Yeah, this is expected. And then 8 to Croatia. So, and I can also reveal my votes then. now that we're finally done, I gave, out of my 20 votes, 10 went to Croatia, 5 went to Ireland, they got 7, and 5 went to France. They only got 2, but still. So my points, made a difference, maybe. Luxembourg got 4 points. Again, it's probably the Israel vote there, because the rest of the world is pretty much in line with the rest of Europe. You see that? I cannot see this chat, by the way. Somebody's saying anything right now. France isn't, we knew Ukraine got a lot of points from almost every country except Serbia. What's wrong, Serbia? And France did well with everyone. Every single country gave France points. Only one country gave France 12 points, though. That's still better than what Lorraine had last year. Interesting. Now, let's look at Switzerland. Okay, we have one 12-pointer from Ukraine for Switzerland, and that's it. And Israel gave Switzerland nothing. And here the Swiss. And then, of course, not surprised about 8 points for Germany and 12 points to Luxembourg, the close allies for Israel in this particular case. Yeah, so none of this totally surprises me. Norway, 4 points. Man, that's stink. Not a fan of that, but I think I digress. Let me stop sharing that again and take a look at some of the questions you may have had in the chat at ESC United, as always, in case, you have anything to say. Luxembourg got left half, so I am happy, Putra is saying. I really enjoyed the song from Luxembourg as well. I thought it's going to drown in the finals. And it didn't do that well with the televoters, but with the juries, much better than I anticipated. 11th place with the juries. That is great. So I cannot complain. It's a great comeback for Luxembourg and certainly an encouragement to do well going forward. And because, some kind of, small countries can't do well. Yes, they can. Yes, they can. What do others think about the last placers this year, deserved or not? Well, deserved is very subjective. I don't think any country deserves last place, and I know it's a politically correct answer, but I truly believe that. With Norway coming last with 6, but keep in mind, they still got 16 points. That's not bad. I mean, it's not great. So that's Norway. The sad part is Norway has the most last place than most any other country. I mean, Germany may have passed them now, but Norway often had so many last places in the past. Then they've done so well. They're in the finals. That's great. Austria's a little bummer, second to last, and Slovenia third to last. But once again, the direct qualifiers delivered this time around, with Spain being the lowest ranked at 22nd, not coming last. It's been over 10 years since that happened. That's wonderful. So Spain, 22nd, then UK, 18th, then a big gap until Germany comes in 12th place. And then Sweden, Italy, and France being the most successful direct qualifier this year. 4th place overall, only 8 points behind Ukraine. So that is very interesting as well. So I'm still waiting for the semifinal results, y'all. So let me check if there are up yet. Nopies. Okay, well, we get them hopefully soon. So let me see. As a German whose favorite was Switzerland, I couldn't be happier. I cannot blame you. I mean, the good thing is, when I go to Switzerland, it's neighboring Germany, and my family's in Germany. Although they live in the northern part, I rather would have preferred Denmark to win, because technically my family's closer to Denmark. Actually, my family's probably even closer to Czechia. No, that's kind of the same. No, Czechia is probably quicker. Anyways, I digress. Switzerland is right next to Germany. So, so the point is, I'm very happy as well. Again, I cannot be. The only thing I'm worried about is people being really upset about, a 5th place in the televote coming first overall. That's the only thing I'm worried about, people going to raise that. And I think it's just a good conversation to have, again, for the future when it comes to the juries. I still don't want to get rid of the juries. I don't even want to neuter them in certain anyways. I want them to be reevaluated who is on the jury. That's what I'm hoping for. But Switzerland is closer than California. So yes, that is technically true. I'm not complaining. If Croatia would have won, I still would have gone. I probably would have stopped in Germany and then flew, because there are no direct flights to Croatia anyways, so I would have flown into Frankfurt probably, and then flown to with my family, and then continued my journey to Croatia. Here, I'm going to probably do the same thing, or the other way around. I don't know yet. We'll see. I digress. That's too far out. I cannot even think on that. So I'm just happy Isaak proved everyone wrong. He got the best result in years. I'm saying this a lot today. Maybe I should just enjoy this moment because for once, I was pretty good with my predictions. I did say, as I mentioned earlier, Germany would not come last. It's more likely they would be in the top 15 or left side of the scoreboard than they would come last, and that is exactly what happened. Yes, and I'm thinking maybe they would have got better running order. I don't know. But one thing still, Germany shouldn't get too comfortable. They were saved by the juries, right? They need to figure out how can they appeal to the televoters. This is now since 2019 a flop with the televoters. So that's still, there's a lot of room for improvement. I'm not trying to put a damper on your excitement. I'm just saying, we don't want to celebrate too much. I think we can be excited as, those are German, but let's not get carried away. Rooms in Zurich for May 25, all 3,000 already. All right, let's not look at that. Thank you, first of all, for that. Let's go. That money will go towards that $3,000 room. It's always this high, this far out. Prices go down a lot at that point. Clearly, I will be sleeping with a lot of people when that sounded wrong. I will be sharing my room with a lot of people in Zurich. We're going to have like an Airbnb kind of thing where we share the cost. So it is, that's still to come. I mean, that was a Freudian slip there, wasn't it? Okay, so people are saying the results are out for the semis. Are you ready, peoples? Okay, not here on Eurovision Net yet. The Eurovision World, excuse me. Actually, let me now refresh again. Okay, not on there. They're probably still loading them over. It's not as easy to read on Eurovision.tv, but I can go over there as well. Okay, let me know if you see it done on there as well. Where was I? Oh yeah, sleeping with a lot of people. Yeah, so that is Zurich situation. So I wouldn't put too much stock into the room prices yet, but it will be expensive. Matt, maybe. Oh, that was not what I wanted to click. But Joost came second. Not a surprise. He had a perfect running order. Somebody said basically maybe listening to the song, all of them after they come out made a difference. This is a very good point. That is a very good point. Those who didn't know, I was sick for like over 6 months. So I was not part of the Eurovision national final season at all. So I had like 4 live streams where I listened to all 37 songs in a row for the first time. So I didn't have any sort of connections to all of the songs. And Croatia, France, Ireland were the first 2 that stood out to me the most, followed by Switzerland, and there's one more. Well, I really loved UK. It's the only one that didn't really come to fruition. But that is me and my retro taste. So it certainly could play a role in that. You never know. So, but I don't think I could do it again. I don't think I could do it again. So I'm going to go to Eurovision.tv now, because if Malmo 24. I don't know where the results are right now. People see it already. It's not on Eurovision World yet. I'm trying to find them on the actual website as well, but I don't have time to search for it. Okay, no, I don't see them. Do you think there could be been a jury rigging from Croatia because they were the only country who didn't give points to Switzerland? I did something I said the similar thing in my reaction video. It's a little suspect, I'm not going to lie. But also at the same time, I don't want to make assumptions here. But it is a little strange. I'm not going to lie. It is a little strange. But it is what it is. Do you think we will get another Carrier and Baby Lasagna who'll defeat the jury fave? You know what? At this point, I'm worried it's going to happen again. If it keeps happening, people get more and more pissed and upset. But again, I hate even talking like that because I'm worried it sounds like I am poo-pooing on... I don't want to take anything away from Nemo because it's a deserved winner. So just keep that in mind. Somebody said on ESC Discord. Okay, let me go to ESC Discord. So I broke the code. What? Uh-oh. So let's go to semifinal 1 first. Or not. I only see semifinal 2. Where are you? Okay, let's start with semifinal 2 then. Israel is first with 194 points. Not a surprise, but Netherlands 182. So, no surprise. Armenia third, 137 points. Switzerland fourth with 132, and they won. Greece fifth with 86. Estonia sixth with 79. In seventh place, Latvia. They came seventh in the semifinal with 72 points. Georgia, 54 points, coming eighth. Austria ninth with 46, and Norway just skated in with 43 points. Czechia 5 points behind in 11th place. Then Denmark, Belgium, San Marino. Albania did not come last. Malta came last. That is a big surprise to me. That Malta came last, and that song was not very popular, but I thought it was well executed. So that surprised me quite a bit. So yeah, let me go to Eurovision.tv here real quick. I know these all just scorecard here. Maybe I'll get that. Okay, so let's go to. Oh, the points are still not broken out here. When I go to Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, I only see semi 2. Am I stupid? So if somebody has the link or so, post it or so. But yeah. So yes, I'm very happy for Dance. He was certainly underestimated, and I love when these surprises come out like that. So, but yeah, that is where we're at right now. Let me refresh one more time here. We all know that Croatia came first in the first semi. I mean, there's just no way, unless Ukraine actually did better, which I could see universe that happening, but it would have been really, really close. So yeah, Malta came last, unfortunately. I will also look at the results and digest them in more detail soon. And yeah, Czechia was only 5 points away from qualifying. So close. It just shows, great staging can make a difference. I know the song was not as popular. I love that song. But man, I thought that Norway would do better with the televoters. That just surprises me a little bit. There was a lot of hype around it. I didn't get it, right? You heard me. I did not get the song. And I was just overruled by virtually everybody. I'm like, okay, I don't get it. So maybe I wasn't the only one. But qualifying is still a great result. I'd rather qualifying come in last than not qualify at all. So I think that for Norway, that is still, not the end of the world. Malta being last again is so sad. What more can they do to get to the finals on the televote only semifinals? They can do better if they get a song that's a little bit more accessible. Keep in mind, this is not just the televote. The fan polls, anything, no one cared for that song. It was just the last few years were very underwhelming from a popularity contest. I mean, I loved last year, but the vast majority disagreed. So they just need to find the right song. Look at Destiny. She did so well. That was only 3 years ago. So yes, they had 3 bad results. But maybe they should go back to internal selection because they do better. They qualified in 2019, in 21, and maybe that's just the way to go for them. So that is just what I'm saying. So maybe they should consider that because then they can really focus on the songs. Some countries just are not good at picking songs for a national final, and they need some more time. Let's go here. Don't support internal selection, Matt. Usually I don't. So I'd rather have a public selection. If you could ask me, I will always pick a national final, even if the results are maybe worse for that specific country, right? Because I think it's way more exciting when you're part of the selection process. I'm just saying, though, if you truly just care about results rather than excitement or involvement, then maybe internal selection would be better. But no, I agree. But it's kind of like the thing, if they keep failing with the national final and they get all upset and saying, no one loves us, no one votes for us. Yes, they do. You came second in the televote in 21 in the semis. So I'm not buying that shit. Ooh. So that's what I'm saying. Yes. If Netherlands was in, do you think that would have changed the results? Well, yes, because some points would have been taken away. Now yes, I think it would have changed. But who would they take points away from? That I don't know. So would they have taken away points from Croatia, and then Israel would have won? I don't know. But I'm not saying it's a good thing that the Netherlands is out. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. But it's hard to really say. It's so hard to say. Did Eurovision stick the landing with these results? What direction does that put the contest in? Stick the landing with these results? What direction does that put the I don't know what you mean by stick, but I'll still say, like what I said earlier, I think they just need to reconsider, how the jury is set up. Only because, they just have such a dramatic power play here where they just overrule the televote by such a margin that it's very difficult to catch up. And that is unfortunate. It shouldn't be that way. So that is the unfortunate part. 3 Big Five countries on the left side again. Big Five in their comeback now. Yeah, I mean, Italy is not in a comeback because they've been doing well. France has been doing quite well. More like left side, or like they haven't been at the bottom for a few years. So we need to, they're doing okay. And this year, well, actually, they were at the bottom in 22. That is true, second to last. But they had a great result in 21, a mediocre result in 23, and now another fantastic result. So it's just something to acknowledge. And Germany, obviously, huge success for them after all these negativity. Some countries would consider 13th place a disappointment, but for Germany, that is a success. And Spain, I was worried that was going to happen. I was worried they're not going to click with the televoters. It was such a Eurovision bubble fan favorite. And that's exactly what happened here. Gosh, I was right again. You know what? I should really quit the national final season, y'all. When I don't do that and just listen to them all at one time, it's very different. It's very different. I called that one too. So in the UK, of course, disappointing 18th place, but that's still better than last year, second to last. It's just disappointing the televote. So just take it with a grain of salt. I understand that it's not ideal, but it could be worse. So I see the points for the first semi. Let me share the screen with you. And last time I just read it to you, so I'm going to share that with you. Hold on tight, y'all. I'm on the right screen. Yes. Actually, Croatia did win the first semi only by 4 points, but they did. So Croatia wins the first semi closely behind Ukraine with 173 points, then a little gap. Ireland coming third. Beautiful top 3. And Lithuania, look at that. 4th place. So Lithuania lost a lot of support in the finals. Luxembourg coming 5th, kind of what I think I thought they were going to be 6th, so that sounds about right. Cyprus doing much better than anticipated. I mean, there's a huge gap. It's the top 5 and then everybody else. So Cyprus came in 6th place with 67. Then it gets close as Finland 59 in 7th. Portugal 8th was 58. I said I would be more worried about Portugal if they would have been in position 2. But here, this makes sense. They got in. Slovenia actually got 9th place and Serbia 10th. So those were the 2 I wasn't sure about. So that makes sense. So who's the lucky 11th place? Australia. I knew it. 6 points. Oh, man. Poor Australia. So close. And then Poland 12th, actually. There wasn't even 11th place. I'm curious how many points. Who voted for Poland then? Moldova 13, Azerbaijan 14, Iceland coming last with 3 points. Yeah, Moldova's actually more points than I thought. No, and that's not shade on my part. It's just, I didn't think they were going to get that many points. Azerbaijan underperformed as well. Yeah, so I figured, see, the thing is, Slovenia, Serbia, Australia, Poland were the ones I thought would be battling out. I just thought the odds are that these 2 would be in more likely than Slovenia and Serbia, but that's not what happened here. Okay. Let me go back to semifinal 2 real quick so we get the points here. Again, one more time, you can see Israel, the Netherlands, Armenia, Switzerland, Greece, Estonia, Latvia, Georgia, Austria, Norway. And then here, the gap. So, not the gap, the non-qualifiers. So just very interesting. Very interesting. So let me go to semi one because I'm really curious about Poland. Don't they have the number thing here? Oh, only for the final yet, huh? I want to get this point thing, but that's not available yet here for semi one. No. Okay, I want to see how Poland, where Poland's points came from. So yeah, that's good to know. Why skip we semi 2 so fast? Because I just announced semi 2 just a minute ago. I can go back again if you all need me to, but we talked about semi 2 in just a minute ago. That's why I didn't go for it in all detail again. Oh, somebody said Belgium was missing. Were they in semi 2? Let me go back here. No, they were in 13th place. 18 points only, so that one really flopped. It's Czechia in 11th with 38, Denmark 36 in 12th, and Belgium 18 in 13th place. So that was not no bueno, I guess, unfortunately. So yeah, that is not ideal. But, you know, we know Belgium can do well. They did well last year. What Belgium needs to find also is a good televote-friendly songs, because their songs have been very jury-friendly. They need more televote-friendly songs as well going forward. Switzerland was 4th in the semifinal. I saw that. That is, again, that'll be kind of the conversation. Should we make changes to the juries? The Norwegian delegation recommended that and was going to have a meeting with the EBU, but once again, the EBU doesn't really listen, so they said no. So we have to wait and see. So yeah, so that's where we're at. Any other questions while I'm looking up at ESC United? Make sure you put them in the chat. And now, what do you think of ESC bringing 9 and 11 points into the competition to bring the leaders closer together? No, I mean, it is tradition. It's history. No, that would be weird. I think it's good that the top two get more points. I think that makes sense to me, because then we have 12 points getting songs. It seems a little much. No, I do think that the top two should get a little bit of extra push, because, you know, that's where the most points are. I like the system, and I'm always open to making changes, but I think the point system is actually quite clever. What action would you like to see the EBU take after this mess of a year? Gosh, where to start? Communication. They're the European Broadcasting Union, and they are so hush-hush. I understand you have to be somewhat confidential in certain aspects, but the lack of any sort of information coming out, it is so ridiculous. No wonder nobody trusts them. If you don't communicate, no one trusts you. And we've seen this year that they thought the less you communicate, the better. Well, that backfired. They pissed off so many people, so many artists, so many delegations, and been pissing off the fans for a long time. And maybe it's time to not just, I understand money's important. You need to pay for the contest and the competition. I understand that. But maybe make it more than just about the mighty dollar or euro or whatever, you know. That's another thing. Or find different ways. Do not ignore the fans as much as you did in the past. They're a significant part of the community and they serve a purpose. I would do that. And just really be fair and transparent about what they're doing, or at least transparent as much as possible, and have someone who actually gives us faith in leadership, which I don't think we have right now. So yeah, that's how I feel. And of course, that's very vague, because, you know, you probably were looking for a little bit more of a detailed answer, but that's kind of where I fall right now in my thinking. Do you think the UK results will affect the songs the UK sends? I don't want to go back to the pre-22. I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, everyone knows in the UK you can do well. Once again, you didn't do horrible with the juries. You did horrible with the televote. So anything is possible. So I would really just focus on the positive aspect of this. It's so easy to get lost in the negativity. We got 0 points again. People vote for the UK. It just, the song did not click. And there is that one song every year that just doesn't click. We all kind of knew it. We saw the writing on the wall for Mae Muller last year, right? No one of us was like totally shocked when she flopped in the televote. This one just hurts. This one just hurts a little bit more. So it was visually so much fun, but people just didn't enjoy it. And all I can say is stop focusing on sending big names. If there is someone that is great, a fit, sure. But just for the sake of sending big names, that is bad. You need to have a confident performer who is sending a song that they know they wrote, they're comfortable with, and that they are vocally just really, really solid. Or at least it's a song, going back to Croatia, that suits the singer's style. Like Baby Lasagna, Marco, he's not necessarily like known as the most amazing vocalist in the world, but his song was clever produced because it really suits his vocal abilities. And this song did not really do that. So that's another thing. Now you can say if that would have been performed by Sam Ryder, would have done better. My case is yes, would have done as well as Spaceman, probably not. The song was always a little bit, I mean, even when the song came out, it was just somewhere liked but not loved, right? So there's just multiple factors. It's complicated. That's what Eurovision is. It's complicated. I don't think it's a one straightforward answer. The best answer I can give you is send better singers and send singers that are connected to the song and that they feel it, and the success will come. Sometimes you try and you fail, and this time it was not great. But again, 18th place. I feel like we were just arguing about something that wasn't even that bad. It wasn't that great. I get it. Lithuania most hurt by final running order spot. This year, I think it's fair to say it's the first. I don't know. Because look at the top, even Sweden finished in 11th place, I think. Was it like a 10th place in the televote? And then 9th with the... I mean, it's more of the televote. So let me go back here to Eurovision World and look at the grand final. In the grand final, in the televote, the public gave Croatia first place, then Israel second. We all know that, even though they performed 6, we know why. Ukraine third. They finished, they performed in second. We also that was a popular song, though, to be fair. So Ukraine is a little bit a mix, right? France had a good running order, so we can't say much. Switzerland has a good running order. Ireland had 10 running order and still got, good results. Sweden got a good result. Not a great, let me see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11th place. So does this thing where we now start voting early once again, and now that we live more online, help, overcome that disadvantage that these countries have in the first place? I don't know, but I think we should continue this process. I think this is it's a good thing. Even Germany did not great, but they got points and they were like 19th in the televote, coming out of third. That could have been worse. They could have been absolutely worse. Again, low bar. One second here. I'm getting a few comments here. Thank you, by the way, Adrian Kavanagh, for your super chat. Ukraine first, second, and Ireland third in semifinal 1. Australia in 11th, 6 points behind Serbia. It's, it's like so hard to talk about the 11th place because it still hurts. Like one set of 7 points could have made the difference. I know. I know. What action would you like to see be done that already? Okay. So I just want to make sure I not to miss too many super chats. So forgive me. It's just a lot of conversation going on, and my team, I haven't been able to talk to them since the show ended. So did Austria actually suffer from performing last? No, I don't think so. Going last is not an issue. Austria only finished in 9th place in the semis, and I knew I didn't know, but it has been fairly common that a song that is fun and upbeat just barely squeezed by in the semis closes the show, or that are not considered as big of a threat. Think of Adrenalina. They're not like contenders, but, they're fun songs to close. So once they closed Austria, I was like, okay, this may not be their best night in the end, but we'll see. So it's all about, the song didn't do that well it qualified, but there's a whole lot more competition there. So, and also they put so many strong songs in the end. Switzerland, Croatia, and France, right? Basically 3 of the top 5, like almost back to back with like one song, a filler in between. So it doesn't surprise me too much. It doesn't really surprise me too much. I didn't watch Austria live because I was thinking about how to vote, but I knew I wasn't going to vote for them anyways based on yeah, I mean, I just voted for the songs that I liked the best. I know there was a lot of scheming or coordinating, and we should vote for this song to make sure Israel doesn't win, blah blah blah. But I just voted for the songs that I wanted to vote for. It happened to be Croatia anyway, so they were included in my vote. Has Bambie Thug started a new trend of acts doing more of a performance of their entry rather than just sing dance on stage? Can you envision more of these kind of acts next year? I hope so. I think Eurovision is more of a visual experience. It's still a song contest, but it's also an experience. Otherwise, we could just make it a radio show or just have people sing in front of a microphone like they did in the 50s and 60s. We do not want to go back to that. So I understand there's a theatrical visual aspect to it as well that people need to take into account. I mean, I love the song without the staging. I didn't even need the staging, but that just took it to a new level in my book. So I thought that it was wonderfully done, and I think it's going to open the dialogue and that's not the first time, to be fair. There are certain songs to me that I don't necessarily even care that much in the studio version, but then I see the performance, I'm like, oh, that is an experience, and the staging suits the song so well, and it makes it so much better. So, and that happens quite a bit. And I think Ireland kind of did like the same thing. So, and I enjoy that. And it doesn't have to all be like exorcism, like what Ireland is doing. There could be so many different ways you can do that. It's sad that the Netherlands got DQ'd. They wouldn't have been given a good showing of a televote entry. Would have done early in the show that isn't political. I just thank you first of all for the super chat. I'm trying, it's so hard. I'm still not quite there yet to understand that Netherlands has been eliminated or just disqualified, and how this could have impacted the voting. This would have gotten so many points in the televote. I'm still not sure. I still always said that Netherlands, despite all of this, I don't think would have won, only because the juries I don't think would have gone for it. And especially with the way Switzerland was getting the points. So even if the Netherlands would have gotten 200 points from the juries, that still probably wouldn't have been enough to catch up to Switzerland. So we wouldn't have gotten I don't think we would have had a Dutch victory this year. That would have been my guess. But again, we'll never know. I could be wrong. I could be right. And I don't care because we'll never know. Will the EBU keep the changes they made this year in terms of producer's choice? Yes. Absolutely. Voting from the beginning. Voting from the beginning, I'm in favor of. So absolutely yes, and I think they'll keep that producer's choice. They're going to keep that. I hate it. Absolutely, because Ukraine, Austria. Now, granted, when you look at the results, it didn't matter to these two particular countries, but still, Ukraine is also a unique situation currently in the contest. So Ukraine is not always the best example. Then let's do Germany and Austria. Would have Germany done better if they would have gone last? Once again, we'll never know. For us who are outside the EBU countries are jealous as you get to hear music that would never be on commercial radio. Your music player. Exactly, algorithm, beware populism. I love that comment because that's exactly one of the reasons why I love Eurovision. Yes, unless you really truly seek out that kind of music, you will not hear that on our radio. You just get, Taylor Swift 24/7 and some Nicki Minaj in there. And I'm not poo-pooing on the artist, great music, right? But you wouldn't get like what you get with Slovenia this year or even Croatia. Know what I mean? So I am very fond of Eurovision. One of the many reasons, even like the national finals and all that stuff, for that exact reason. Not everything is a winner, of course, but it's just the exposure you have is just so wonderful. And this is not poo-pooing because some of my favorite bands are music is non-Eurovision. Like Imagine Dragons will always be my band, and I don't take any criticism. So yeah, that kind of, I am definitely understand. I love that what you just said, basically. In semifinal 2, Spain gave San Marino 10 points. Not a surprise. Likely because they performed after Spain and maybe Spanish people thought number 10 was Spain. Do you think mixing the big fives in semifinal is confusing? No. What you forget probably is Megara, they're Spanish. They're a Spanish band, and they took part even in Benidorm Fest last year. So that is also a very important part of it. Who's crying over Imagine Dragons? I love Imagine Dragons. Sorry. So at ES United, if you have any other questions, somebody distract me with the insult. So that do you think we will ever get to the info on how the juries voted for the Netherlands? I guess not. Probably not. Now the EBU will take that to their graves, and sucks. But yeah. Yeah, that's all I can say. And I haven't really checked the news yet, if anything crazy has broken, by the way. Let me go in here real quick just to make sure into my update folder. It's all about Switzerland shines bright, last winner, Switzerland, the semifinal results. No, nothing yet. I think everyone is just so exhausted from what has happened the last 2 days that no one wants any more updates. And one thing we all need to learn, and I am very, very guilty of that. Remember now with Nemo being the first non-binary winner, I struggle, and struggle sounds so harsh. I keep forgetting, the non-binary term, they. So I understand we will make mistakes throughout the next few weeks and months, but we'll get used to it. We'll get used to it. What, 66 jury, 33 televote in semifinal, 66 jury, 33 televote in final. What do you think? I'm not sure what you're referring to, Alan. What country? It was probably from a different conversation, so forgive me. I am not sure which country you're referring to. Kesara is asking, do you think ESC should have changed the format to where songs can be considered European-wide hits, as they used to be in the old days? Modern songs don't feel like songs, let alone hits anymore. So I think what you're referring to is like some of the criteria that were given to the juries, right? I hated that criteria. Anyways, I think they kind of got rid of it. I don't even know what there was for this year. I think it's a stupid criteria. Anyways, juries should vote on different things. Song composition, sure. Vocals, absolutely. Quality, whatever you want to put in there, absolutely. But just basing it on chart success is really dumb, because then you really punish some of the more unique, folky, not eccentric, was when like songs, when you have like national sounds. I'm talking about ethnic sounds, that kind of stuff. So that is what I'm thinking. Do you think Switzerland winning is good because it prevents people from forming their opinion solely based on the betting odds system? I like when the betting odds are wrong for that exact reason, because also now with the producer running order, Kirsten Bjorkman was said, I think there's 6 songs that could win, and I want to place them in a running order that makes sense so they can all shine. I'm like, you don't get to decide the 6 that could win. Who does that? I mean, they do that, the producers. So I'm worried that all the songs that are on top of the betting odds always get favoritism in the running order. So that is my concern. That's why I hate that. And so, yes, I'm kind of glad for that reason that, we got less of an expected winner there. Although Switzerland wasn't unexpected either. Number one, they were third in the betting odds. And I saw it coming, at least. That was completely, I always knew, to me, it was between Croatia, Switzerland, and France in my book. So, yeah. Did you see that they sandwiched France, Croatia, and Switzerland with the 9th and 10th place? Yes, I knew that. Once again, I knew that they wanted to. This running order was the worst one. I mean, not the worst one in terms of like the flow was pretty good, but it was the most obvious favoritism that I wanted to vomit. They put the throwaway songs in between like the favorites, and I'm not calling them throwaway in terms of like they're bad, because I think both Serbia, Slovenia, all the other songs, Georgia, they're great songs, but in their mind, well, they're just barely qualified. We'll just put them in there and then they're going to be overlooked and who cares about them anyways, right? And that feels shitty, absolutely shitty. And I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And it's just, I'm hoping they go away from that. And they always talk about, well, we don't know the results of the semis. Bull. Stop lying to me. I hate that. Now I'm getting off my soapbox. Sorry. I just hate it. In case you didn't know. Has someone ever won the semi and had as early a running order? Oh God, that question just went away. Oh dang, I lost the question. Had as early, maybe post it again. The Netherlands jury results is online because they give the full results of the 25 competing countries, ranked 1 to 26. Netherlands would have about 58 points, says someone who's gone through. Okay, I need official information on that. So it wouldn't surprise me, but I thought it would be a few more points, but it wouldn't surprise me. The Netherlands got 58 points in jury results in the final. Bruno counted. So we do have it. Oh my God, y'all. Oh gosh, I'm going to be that person. I'm going to be that person, you all. I knew it. This year, I knew that the Netherlands would have not gone. It just was not that kind of song. So I'm not surprised. Yeah, so we'll never know what the televote would have done, right? But yeah, I'm not surprised. That's why I said the Netherlands never would have won, but that would have been potentially in the top 5 or 6. That was always my thinking there. So I'm sorry that I'm that person today, but it's this one year where I was really good with my predictions and anticipation, and makes me look good. But, I want to use that year, and then next year I'm going to suck at everything again. Because then I'll be listening to all the songs and have different opinions on it. Basically, you can work it through omission. I'm surprised if you have made it available. Wow, yeah, the omission part, they really maybe didn't think that through. I don't know. Yeah, that wasn't very smart. Switzerland was a jury favorite from the beginning, but it seemed like they tried to inflate their points to not risk another country winning only due to their high televote points. Another country? Do you have any names? I know. No, I don't know. It's very hard to say, this accusation that I'm not willing to make, but I cannot deny or prove your accusation. So we leave it at that. Thank you so much for that super chat. Hi, thank you for your content, integrity, wisdom. You're my most favorite Eurovision channel. What? Also, I think half of the Israeli points belong to LT. What's LT? LT. Israeli points belong to LT. Should I know this? Is it like an embarrassing thing that I don't know what the LT is? So yeah. Matt, when they were telling the televote, I am jokingly said 82 for Armenia, and I got it spot on. I do that in my reaction video. I'm back. I had to refresh again. I hate the software. Burn it, burn it, burn it. So, yeah, I always have to restart my browser when that happens. It's so annoying. So my mic is fine. It's the browser that stops transmitting sound. It's all good. I said earlier, has someone ever won semi and has had as early a running order as used? Well, now you're opening a different, because he technically didn't win the semi. We had second place since he came second. Yes, Destiny came second in the semi, also performing last in the semi, and was put in 6th place. So exactly what happened to Joost happened to Destiny as well. Now he won because Israel came first and all that stuff you're saying, right? But the reality is he didn't win, so that's why I think they put him there. honestly, it's not a secret. The EBU also tried their best to avoid an Israel win, and they did a piss poor job at it because the televote clearly made a difference there. Didn't make a difference, but they may have also put Netherlands there to be like a point sucker in the televote. I don't know, but it wouldn't have mattered anyways. I've heard nobody talk about this. Switzerland was amazing and was doing very well with the fans, but please tell me why I've barely anything from the Swiss fans. Seems like Eurovision isn't. You know what? It is true. I mean, I know a few Swiss fans, but they're not as active. Well, that ought to change, especially since they've been doing so well lately. Yeah, there are not that many Swiss fans, right? It's not the biggest country, but they have a few million people. So yeah, that's a good point. They have not been around a whole lot, but that's ought to change now. If Joost was in the final, you think it would have eaten Croatia, Switzerland, and possibly cost Ukraine, or maybe even ... I don't know. It's so hard to say. It is so hard to guess at this point. It certainly would have made a difference. It's not an excuse, though, for them to get kicked out. That is a very important thing to point out as well. So I don't even want to think about it because it seems kind of, almost pointless. How could EBU deal with bots and buying televotes? I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't have 20 votes. Maybe one person, one vote. But even then, I don't know if that would make a difference. I don't know what they can do at this point. It seems unfair. But look, I don't think you should be able to put ads out there, put any kind of, and get embassies, try to contact, people to vote. And it just seems like not cool, to say the least. So it was really, really unfortunate. So, but I don't know what they can do, to be fair. Any has suggestions? I'm talking too fast. If anyone has any suggestions, let me know. Do you think the juries have too much power? Something about country coming in distant fifth in the televote feels wrong. Yes. So I said earlier, Anthony, actually the same thing. I don't want to get rid of the juries. I don't even necessarily want to minimize their impact. I want the composition of juries to change. Maybe still have 5 music experts, but then add 5 average Joes or Janes to it. Not just to have that one mindset, or have different areas. Maybe one year you have all these nurses on there. I don't know, but just have at least something more representative of the public, so that there's not such a big disconnect. Because now for a couple of years in a row now, the jury winner was so far ahead, the televote didn't matter almost. And it's just very, very upsetting. It's not that upsetting because we're all happy for Nemo, but you get what I'm saying in terms. So what happened? So we have such a great winner. It's one of the better winners we've had in recent years, in my opinion. Slimane won The Voice France, and same night Amir finished 6th at 2016. Oh, that's a funny little side fact. I like that one. What's your thought on Producer's Choice? I said it earlier. I hate it. I hate it for so many reasons. I prefer to have them drawn in quarters, actually. Just make it for like 1 to 6, 6 to 12, well, 13. You get my point. 13 to 18 or something like that. So there's less favoritism, because there is always favoritism. And they claim, no, there's not. I'm like, yes, there is. So I hate it. But if we could at least go back to first and second half, that would be at least a little bit more fair. But this difference between, being first or being 26th, that's a huge difference. That's a huge difference, y'all. Yes, look at this views and the views and streams and stuff. I'm not downplaying their win, but look at how energized Netherlands and Croatia got because of their entries. And of course, Greece and Spain and Serbia, as always. Yep, they usually get a little bit push. Views is not always the best indicator either, because local people watch it a lot. But yes, it is certainly a factor. So, but it's too late for this year, right? So we can only address this next year. And with the current EBU setup, I don't think it's going to change. I don't think the EBU wants it to change with the current people in charge. The reference group has to be dissolved, and a brand new folks with new ideas need to come in. And then the executive supervisor not just run the reference group, but they're all having individuals, unique opinions, and really move the contest forward. That is what I think they need to do. Nemo has raised the bar. You need to be an athlete and sing at the same time. I mean, that's not. I mean, there were other amazing athletic performances before, but this was definitely a sight to see. It was enjoyable and so creative. I loved it. Matt, what country is winning Eurovision 2025? Wild predictions. Okay. I feel like since we had Switzerland has won before, of course, but it's been so long. And Croatia has never won before. I will make the crazy prediction without knowing anything that a country that hasn't won or not in a long time is going to win. And let me think of some. I could see maybe next year a Baltic country winning. So, both Latvia and Estonia won, so maybe Lithuania. Lithuania is going to be the winner of Eurovision 2025, you all. You heard it here first. Okay, that's my great logic. Oh man, you guys are crazy. Do you think Ukraine and Israel votes would hurt even more in Eurovision brand by the general public saying now that you need to a war to win? Oh man, this is a very sensitive topic, of course, because I don't want to be downplaying the loss and devastation these wars. I mean, we're talking about lives lost, right? Many thousands and thousands of innocent lives lost. So I don't want to take these, it's because they're at war, blah, 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 and all that stuff. It's a serious issue, but I understand the idea, like, okay, can other countries compete at this point? Now, Switzerland won, so clearly you can. Last year, Sweden won, so you can compete. But, with the televote, that is a concern. So now the question begs, again, going back, that's why we need juries, right? But Ukraine this year was immensely popular. I mean, they were in the betting odds in like second at some point. They were always very high up there. So I also want to see, I always feel bad like shitting on that song because I'm not. You know what I mean. But I understand, there is a concern here from that perspective. Do you think Joost decides with Avrotos to run again next year? He has an advantage. Well, here's the thing. I personally would not do it with next year for multiple reasons. I think he needs some time away. We don't know if he wants to go back, first of all, right? After this experience, I wouldn't want to come back. But if for some reason he decides, I think it's best to wait at least a couple of years or so, 3 years. Not because, for his mental health probably as well, but also people always just compare it to Europapa and like, oh, what could have been? Because beating the popularity of Europapa is going to be very, very difficult. So I am a little concerned, like if he comes back with a good song next year, but nothing like Europapa, people are like, oh, what we could have had. So it would kind of suck for him as well, being always compared to the song that could have been. You know what I mean? So I think, they'll still do it anyways a few years later, but it may be less dramatic. So we'll see. What do you think the next few days at the EBU will look like? Well, I want to be a fly on the wall right now. So bad. So flippin' bad. Honestly, right now we need all these broadcasters to speak out. Now, the big broadcasters, the German broadcaster will defend EBU because, they will protect Israel at all costs from that perspective. But other broadcasters, if everybody else leaves, that's also kind of bad. So it really needs to be all these broadcasters speak up. Netherlands, in particular, they're the biggest contributor outside the big five financial contributors to Eurovision and the EBU. So they do not want to lose the Netherlands. And if some other countries that are big, Norway is probably going to be pissed right now as well. We'll see Ireland. So there could be some talk. Then the EBU only acts if the broadcasters do something or come after them. And that's what needs to happen. So you need to talk to your broadcaster as well. Reach out to them. So yeah, that's how I feel. My wild guess, it's got to be Belgium. As a Dutchie who loves you, y'all should be embarrassed for only having having one win in almost 70 years, and justice for Joost. I'm still heartbroken. I know Belgium is overdue for another win. 1986. It's been a minute. So, yeah, there's no such thing as your turn, but there is such a thing as, you're overdue. And you have been on the right track. I've got you got some fourth places. We just now get to that final push, that final hurdle. So I'm really excited. If Joost had voted in the semis, do you think Australia would have sneaked into the top 10 and qualified? My hunch tells yes. But then who would have missed out? That is the other question. I would have to look at the other songs. So, but I don't think we'll go back having juries in the semis anytime soon. So yeah, we'll see. Did Island's 142 jury points surprise you? The song was generally perceived as not jury friendly. Yes and no. So I was expecting jury points to be lower. I said probably around 100, maybe a little bit over 100. But we talked, especially Connor and I, who talked about it yesterday, the day before. There is a musicality to the song Doomsday Blue that a lot of musicians may actually appreciate. The switch in style, and there is a lot, and it's actually really well written. So I thought that there could be a chance if people are open-minded, and a lot of juries fortunately were actually open-minded, and I'm happy to see that. We sometimes underestimate the juries, and that's good, that they're still open to that kind of music. Now, my view deserved even more points, but I'm still happy that they gave him what they did. For next year, Germany will have another broadcaster and no longer will be NDR. Is that, I heard about that before. Is that official now? Because I think it's time to take it away from them. And nothing against Isaak. I mean, I always liked the song, so I never had a problem with that. But it's just, they need to come up with something different. I think they had a good run with it 25 years or so. So maybe they should, give it to someone else with a better result. One win in 25 years, sure, but it wasn't even them. It was the private channel ProSieben that really delivered that win. So ever since, it has been really just blurb. With some little moments, of success. 2018 comes to mind. But other than that, it has been pretty stale. And do you think the Netherlands disqualification was disproportionate? Yes. Based on what we know, at least, it has been disproportionate. If the EBU has more information that proves it wasn't, bring it to us. But the Dutch broadcaster gave us enough information to feel as that was just not warranted. And I do think it was disproportionate. Do you think the brand has been to restore it? There needs to be some yes. So let's talk about that. Eurovision took a little bit of a hit in its reputation. That was self-inflicted wound by the EBU. And the EBU needs to really think about what they've done and how to correct the course. I don't think they think of it that way. I don't think that they think they messed up. Because based on the comments I've seen, they're all like, no, we're good. We did everything right. We looked at this, and it looked all good. So, once again, I sound like a broken record, but the broadcasters need to push. ARD won't push, or whoever. BBC needs to push a little. The French need to push. The Spanish need to push. And then some of the smaller, but then group together. Because if they lose 5 or 6 countries next year, that's an issue. They may as well go back to one semi. How about Petra verifying the jury but not televote with Martin? Talking about the booing. How about the EBU editing out booing noises when Eden sang? So thank you, first of all, for the super chat. I understand why they didn't go back to Martin. This booing was so awkward. Oh my God. I was uncomfortable watching that. So I understand why they didn't go back. I mean, who wants to get booed like this? I'm not claiming it wasn't warranted whatsoever. I'm just saying it is uncomfortable. And I was in Martin's shoes. I would be like, let's not do this again. So I can see that. Now, the editing out of the noises. Okay. Well, here's another controversial statement. The EBU believes strongly in an apolitical contest. And therefore, they do whatever it takes to protect one country, even changing the vibe of the song, that to me inherently is already a political move because they are protecting one country. They believe Israel deserves to be in the contest. They didn't break the rules. Okay. Then let them perform and let the sound and play it out as it may. But them interfering with that, and only for one country, that is inherently political to me. So that's how I feel. And I'm sure a lot of people will disagree, but that was I don't like that. That the favoritism towards one country. So that is certainly not what I like. Why do you think they didn't cover the bobs, the boos for Martin? I think it's probably more difficult because it's not a performance, or maybe they didn't expect that loud of booing. I know he was booed earlier today. I don't know. I mean, it would be difficult to really cover him because he's talking. It's not like singing and all that stuff. So it would be more difficult. I don't know. They could have tried, but maybe he didn't care that much. I don't know. I don't know why they didn't do it, but it was awkward. I know some people enjoyed it, and I get it, but I get uncomfortable with booing for the most part. Not all the time. RTVE is saying nothing. The head of delegation just said that they feel content with the support and that they are now focused on Junior. No self-criticism found whatsoever. Well, here's the thing. They are so focused now on hosting Junior that I want to mess that one up. Give them a little bit of credit because they did speak out earlier, was it yesterday before, about the Israeli journalists who were harassing and intimidating Spanish media. They did speak out over that. But yeah, it needs to be more than that to really make an impact. I think the EBU should delete the non-political rule. Instead, they should create documents with the ethics, and every broadcaster and delegation should sign this. And also, what is political? Everything is political in this world. You know what I mean? I mean, if you cannot even use the word peace anymore, then the Innovalec from 2016 is now political. Love, love, peace, peace. And we had so many peace songs before and songs about war, and that is part of life, part of music, and part of artistry. Now, if you're gonna have a song that says "fuck you, Putin," in the or what kind of like even Israel was trying to do with October Rain, sure, we have a case. But any sort of message that goes into anything is political. Like, you can't have songs about anything is political. LGBT rights, political. I mean, they got rid of non-binary flags now in the arena because they're political. The EU flag was not allowed in the arena because it's political. So it's just, yeah. So it's getting a little crazy. If everything becomes political, then what can we sing about? Love, love, and chocolate cake. That's all we got. Lack of communication and lack of self-awareness has always been EBU's worst fault. Yes, those are the two. There's very little self-awareness, and there were plenty of issues and lack of communication under Jan Ola Sand. We all miss him now, but Jan Ola Sand was known to be a team player. So when he was at the EBU, he listened to the reference group, he listened to the employees, he listened to everyone involved, rather than just saying, this is what I want. Martin Ostal has a reputation of being a steamroller. Like, it's kind of like, I want this to be the case, so make it happen. And this is not just me saying it. I know for a fact I've heard people communicate that to me. So this is not just something I'm pulling out of my ass. So it's a different style. So, but it still existed back then, but it just has taken this thing to a new level. And that is unfortunate. Do you think some countries will drop out because of it being too expensive? That's my concern. People are concerned, like, people will withdraw because of this drama. May happen, but that's too early to say. I'm more worried about financials. Because, that's why we have all these sponsorships. That's why Moroccan oil is so important to the EBU and some of the other sponsors. But Moroccan oil is a big one. I know they have other connections with EasyJet and who else? I can't even think of the other ones. But yeah, so that is a big, big reason. And if you're beholden to the money, that's an issue. But then again, how do you finance it? If we don't have those sponsors, then no one can afford to take part. So it's like, is the option to scale down the contest a little bit? Or should we change the rules? Hear me out. Could you see a rule saying, the winner doesn't get to host anymore? And like we have people put bids in anywhere. Any country can put in a bid and show what we can host it. Here's what we can provide. And then they choose a city. And then they can save money that way because you're not just limited to one country's capabilities. That would be an option. I don't want that. I'm just saying, what are our options? You know what I mean? So it's very, very difficult to really come with an option that can please everyone and everything. Speculation going around that the Netherlands won't participate next year. What's your take on that? Yeah, I know there's speculations, but who people speculate? Of course, they must be pissed they're going to withdraw. I don't think so, but they will have a really close conversation with the EBU, the Dutch broadcaster. And I think they're going to have a lot of support from other broadcasters as well in this battle, because that was absolutely, bad the way they handled that situation. I mean, it has never, ever happened before. And it's funny how the EBU is okay with a lot of like fans, media, if they're being treated badly. But as soon as like someone they feel, should be protected, they're all like, argh. So it's kind of like, come on now. Controversial take. First of all, thank you, Matthew. And it sucks, but they realized the EBU bubble isn't representative of the Eurovision audience. Tonight's result confirmed that for them. I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to. I mean, you can talk about Israel, but that is a different story. I think we all can agree with Israel that it's different. Other areas, it depends. The bubble doesn't always represent the people. That is true as well. But in the other cases, like Croatia, Ukraine, Switzerland, they did represent it. France was overlooked a lot by the bubble as well, and they did really well, but I call it. Yeah, but it's a mixed bag for sure. Do you think that big countries performing in semifinals live boosted their outcome in the end? You know what? Good question. Maybe, but no. I'm thinking UK didn't do well. They got 0 points. Spain didn't do well. How many points did they got? Single digits. Germany didn't do amazing. They got 19th place with 18 points. So I don't know if it made a big difference, but it certainly doesn't hurt. And I think it's just an overall good idea to do that, actually. Yeah. This year was so expensive for North Macedonia, so next year it will be enormous expensive. Gosh. We already had we had the lowest number of participants since the introduction of the semifinal 2, right? And I understand there are certain things that are out of the EBU's control, especially when it comes to Russia and Belarus and all of that stuff. So those are 2 countries, right? That we would be at 39 at least, maybe in pre-22 world. But still, so many gaps in the European map, right? There's Slovakia, Hungary, North Macedonia, Montenegro, Turkey can even put in, but Turkey's a different story. It's political, and same for Hungary, to be fair. But still, countries that just cannot afford to come back. Romania, another example, they just couldn't afford it. So it's just, and some of them were struggling to pay for it. So we'll see how that's all going to pan out. Do you think Spain got fewer points than anticipated? I've never seen the Eurovision audience join in with a song sung in Spanish before. I hate to say this, but no, I'm not surprised. I said it could go big, but it could flop big time because it's a Eurovision bubble song. And I don't want to be right on this one, but on that one, I did see it coming. Yeah, that one I did see coming a little bit. And it's just such a specific genre that it's so hard for non-Spanish people and non-Eurovision bubble to get into it. So I was not surprised at all. But yeah, it's, it is what it is. If the UK withdrew, surely they'd just be replaced with ITV or Channel 4, both EBU members. I assume other countries would be the same if their broadcaster withdrew. Not everyone has multiple public broadcasters. UK is a little different. Let's just say the UK withdrew BBC next year. Like, we got 0 points from televoters. Wah, 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 goodbye. The EBU probably may do what they do with junior. They could have Wales now in. They could let Scotland in. They could let in England. Do you know what I mean? So they could actually have more countries if the UK were to withdraw. Now, this is not me advertising for the UK to withdraw here. I'm just saying that would actually probably be a likely outcome. But yeah, they could also switch broadcasters, but there's also this thing like who's holding the rights to Eurovision. There's like this thing as well. So it's getting a little bit more tricky there as well. Okay, so do you think they will ever question Israel at Eurovision? The double standard feels insanely unfair. I think we talked about that ad nauseum. I will just say that a lot of things didn't go well. A lot of people are upset, and there just needs to be a dialogue that needs to happen. And I will say that's a little bit both sides. I'm going to both sides this a little bit, just to be fair. It is a reality. Even how can you put the war aside? It's a difficult one, but let's just not even talk about that. Israel broke multiple rules this time around, and they should be held accountable for it. But not everything is Israel's fault either. People blaming Israel for the Netherlands situation. Some of the rumors say they are involved, but we don't know for sure. But they did say that has nothing to do with another delegation. So we just need to be a little bit more careful. I know emotions are running high, but it's not that black and white sometimes. So we don't want to villainize people just for the sake of villainizing them. There are plenty of reasons why you can't talk about it, but we also need to make sure that we're not getting to the point where it's like, it's your fault, you do everything. It's your fault we have global warming, and it's your fault because my shoes always get untied. It's getting, we need to be careful. Shout out to Eastern Europe for giving so many jury points to non-binary Nemo, including higher scores in PV than some Western countries. Yeah, that is great. I don't think most people knew that they were non-binary, to be perfectly fair. But even that, the way they're dressed is certainly often like a turnoff for some people. Clearly, we're in a world where it's no longer an issue. There are some negative and, voices of dissent out there. Tune them out. I think this vote showed once again that there are a lot more accepting and open-minded people than we think, both in the jury and televote era. So I feel good about that part. And the people that's screaming about the blah, 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 non-binary right now, look, I don't know any non-binaries in my real life either. And it's just something, I don't care. Like, it doesn't impact me. Even if I don't understand necessarily all the ins and outs, they want to be called they, them, doesn't hurt me, doesn't hurt you. So why does it matter? I just don't understand why people get outraged over stupid stuff. Oh, I'm not even stupid, but just unnecessary stuff. There's so many other things I worry about so much more. It's just, it's not a big deal. I just don't get it. As long as people don't get mean and nasty about it, of course, Graham Norton referred to them as he, him, the entire show. Did he know? Or was he just a dick? Because, as he's part of the LGBT family, you would think that he would be a little bit more considerate. I don't see Graham Norton as a mean person or from that perspective. But I don't know him, I didn't follow him and all that stuff. So if he did it deliberately, that would be unfortunate. Yeah, then I would have an issue with it, because then it's just being mean. Even if you don't agree with it, again, does it hurt you? I did all these live streams for how long now? For weeks, and I stumbled over myself several times with Bambie, Thug, and Nemo, and guess what? I will do it again. But I'll try. It's not a big deal. Y'all. Not a big deal. Remember, by the way, that I will be back tomorrow evening as well, and we can talk a little more. I know we talked for quite some time here, and people are getting tired, and I need to eat. But great coverage as always. Someone saying, as the Netherlands broadcaster, alternate each year. Does this change anything with their participation next year? Who's the other broadcaster? I don't even know off the top of my head who the other broadcasters. I don't think so, because I would think the broadcasters would. I thought Belgium switches all the time. I didn't realize the Netherlands switches as well. I don't think it's going to be an issue. That it affects them all, because it could have happened to them as well, to their act. So I think there will be unity on that for sure. So yeah, that's how I just can talk about it. We'll see though. This is all still all going to happen. So stay tuned on that. Anyways, everyone, once again, Switzerland, congratulations, Croatia. What an amazing job. And we'll talk more about it tomorrow. Let's get all some rest. Think about what happened today and enjoy the evening. And that will all, only those who will go to Switzerland next year. And it'll be exciting. And I'll be back tomorrow evening, okay? Look out for the link. And have a good night, everyone, okay? Bye.